The Bull season comes to an end against Miami in the play-in game, but who's not going to be returning to the Chicago Bulls next season? That's what me and Pat are going to discuss, and why the ending to this season was the best case scenario for the Bulls. We're going to discuss all that and more on today's Locked On Bulls.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily Chicago Bulls podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks for tuning in to Locked On Bulls, member of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every single day. That's Pat, the designer, host and creator of the Windy City Breeze, and host of the Chicago Bears podcast over at ESPN 1000. I'm Hayes, host and creator of Chicago Bulls Central and Chicago Bears Central YouTube pages and podcasts. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Pat, the Bulls get their butts kicked by the Miami Heat. They never led in this game at all. Defensively, they were trashed throughout all of this game. They never got started going offensively at all, despite shooting the ball pretty well percentage-wise in the first half of this game. It just, watching this game was so cathartic because it's just like, all right, here's where we are. It is what it is, right? Now, Pat, you were the first one to say that the Bulls were making it into the playoffs in February. So how do you feel about the season come crashing to a halt here?
This right here. Shout out to a very serious dude. Josh Giddey and the Rook were the only people out there trying.
That's a fact.
I'm not going to say it.
No, Vooch.
I'm not. No, Vooch
had his moment.
Listen, everyone tried.
Yeah.
Let's not confuse activity with accomplishment. Right? The Bull season coming to an end, and we'll talk about why it's the best case scenario, but to me is this was a situation of, are you going to finally get on the pot or not? And I don't know, it sounds crazy.
They were on the pot.
No, they weren't. They were sitting there looking at it and then crapped their pants. See, that's a very different situation.
No, they got on the pot and they crapped on the pot.
No,
the runs.
Hey, you can get on. No, there's the get on the pot scenario is you get on the toilet and use the bathroom.
They did. That looked like crap.
No, the Bulls crapped their pants today. That's what we saw from this team. There's a little bit left coming down the leg. What I mean by all of this is, that's what you get. That's it. You wanted to go down that scenario. I just wanted to move past it. No, here's what I mean. This is a situation for the Chicago Bulls where if at this point you don't have your answer, you're too dumb to know the question. I think the second half of the season was very good. I think there's a lot to learn from. I think there's a lot to grow from. But this is not a loss that I look at the Bulls and say, why did you do this? This is not a loss where I look at Billy Donovan and say, how did this happen? This is a loss where I look at AK and said, what's your move?
Yeah, I agree with that.
And that's really where I'm at with this game.
Yeah. What's next now? And that's what we'll get into on why this is the best case scenario for the Chicago Bulls. But to get back into this game, there was a lot disappointing in it as far as the performance-wise because this team has played so connected as a team throughout this. I mean, you've talked a lot about why that brought such a different feel to this team to finally have a team that felt like it was playing just like that as a freaking team. But when the going get tough in this game, like you saw
the Bulls got going.
Yeah, you saw the default of what we've seen from the Bulls way too often, and that's that they didn't play as a team. They didn't stay connected. They stopped communicating on the defensive side of the ball. There were so many defensive lapses to where just harebrained things where you just get a wide open lay. And we're like, Bam Adebayo went coast to coast after a rebound. And the only thing stopped him from getting a wide open layup was that Vooch finally decided to foul somebody like, hey, you're not finna do that on us. Yeah. But it was and literally, it was like the Bulls players all turned in slow motion. It was like, is that Bam? Hey, that's Bam. Because nobody tried to do anything. And that was the moment where I was like, yeah, this one's done, y'all.
Here's the conversation that I think we need to have on this right now. I think Witten Mahorn. Apologies for the name F up there. Tonight's game needs to be Billy Donovan's last game ever coaching for the Chicago Bulls. Me and you had a very intimate discussion on Locked On Bulls on this. We would kind of go on different ends of this. And I think, I'm sorry, not on Locked On Bulls, on Chicago Bears, Chicago Bulls Breeze, on Chicago Bulls Central. And I think we would be shorting our fans if we didn't have that discussion here. How did you feel Billy Donovan did tonight?
Not good, because the way I look at it is that Billy, you're part of your job as a coach is to have your team prepared. To adjust in game is another thing there, even if you do have them prepared and there's a lack of scheming. And I think that Eric Spoelstra made adjustments to things that he saw prior, and Billy Donovan didn't make adjustments to what did or did not work well for the Chicago Bulls or against the Miami Heat today. But I again, it's a failure for everybody. There's nothing in this. Even Josh Giddey, great game statistically from Josh Giddey. And through the first half of this game, he was the only Bull player like really putting up anything, because even Modest was playing with heart. He made one shot, and that was the end of first quarter buzzer beater. That was bananas, right? But yeah, I think that everybody had their place in the failure today. Every single
100%.
person. Yeah,
100%. The only pushback I would have is, the biggest difference that happened tonight versus last week when we played the Miami Heat. When Kevin Huerter was switched on to Tyler Hero last week when we played the Miami Heat in the second half, Tyler Hero got bad. This game versus Kevin Huerter, Tyler Hero effed him up. It was a 13 for 19 day, shot 3 for 7 from the 3-point line, got to the free throw line a ton, a lot of foul calls in the Miami Heat favor that I thought were interesting. And that was interesting. Now the Bulls did catch up in the second half foul call wise, right? Like, and I know how that goes. Remember, like I said this, I wasn't texting you, I was texting Kid, right? That Memphis game with a minute and a half to go, the free throw discrepancy was 30-15. By the end of that game, I think it was 30-26. You know what I mean? So the refs are looking at it and going, well, you're not going to tell me we didn't call enough fouls on one side. But the one thing that I will say is this. You can be the greatest coach in the world. If your players miss, it doesn't matter. I felt like Billy Donovan did a lot to try and get open shots. I thought he created a lot of open shots scheme-wise. I thought guys were missing. I thought Coby White was absolutely one of the worst basketball players in the NBA still playing today. And that includes a lot of dudes that we traded away. I thought that Nikola Vucevic was okay, but not impactful, right? No, and I think that's the biggest difference when you look at this Bulls team coming into this game, right? Like, I can finish a game and say, your numbers are great. Did you have an impact? Davion Mitchell's numbers are solid, right? 5 for 5 from the field. He was 2 for 2 from 3. He had 15 points. But the impact that Davion Mitchell had defensively is better than what any Bulls player was able to put up defensively in this game. And that, to me, is a bigger contribution than Vooch having better stats than Davion Mitchell. And I think there comes a point where, and look, I've said, I don't know if I said this on Locked On Bulls, but I'm telling y'all this right now. If the Bulls fired Billy Donovan today for Taylor Jenkins, this desk is getting flipped in excitement. I would love to have Taylor Jenkins be the coach over Billy Donovan. I don't want Billy Donovan to be the coach of the Bulls. I haven't wanted Billy Donovan to be the coach of the Bulls for 4 years. 5 years? How long you been here? 5 years? 5 years.
5, I think. Yeah.
It's very tough to coach a team where I put multiple pieces in, I put multiple players in, I try to change the scheme. I go to the bad hairline himself, and nothing works. And that, for me, is where it's like, well, you should coach him better. Kind of comes down to, well, yeah, if I create the open shot and you miss it, that's tough.
But that's the thing, Pat. It's not he didn't change the scheme. He didn't change the scheme. We didn't change we did the same thing offensively, ran into the wall. He didn't. Now, yeah, players miss shots as well, but it's not as simple as, oh, if you got the open shot, that means that everything, because we don't know what the different options were there. But it's not just as simple as that. And even then, you know how many of Kobe's shots were rated as open today? Because that was part of our discourse, and I love that it comes out a little while afterwards. 3. And some of those came because he took the shot early in the shot clock. before the defense had a chance to set up. That's not running good offense. If that's what's happening, it's still your job as the coach to slow that down and to stop that.
Mm-hmm.
So I get what you're saying, and you go to that a lot when we talk about Billy Donovan. Like, and we both have used that to defend Billy at times. It's like open shots, but it's not just about that with good coaching in a game like this. The moment, you could tell that these players weren't ready for the moment. Now, some of that is a lot on them, right? That's why nothing I'm saying is like it's either or, it's all in one thing. But how you coach up players in that moment, that matters as a head coach as well. And when you continually, as you continually in the biggest games fail, sometimes that's eventually you have to be held accountable for that as a head coach. And both the players can be held accountable as well. But when you continually get out coached in some of the biggest games and most important games, it's not just as simple as, oh, you created an open shot on this possession. That's all on the players. You didn't coach a bad game today. The players played like crap. But Billy Donovan, in his coaching today, and his preparation for the team and rallying a team together and adjusting to what other coach you saw. Oh, do you think the Bulls are a more talented team than the Miami Heat? Like, when you look at it on paper, I know they have more experience, but talent-wise, what's the talent discrepancy between the Heat and the Bulls? How do you rank that talent discrepancy?
Bam Adebayo is the equivalent of Coby White and Josh Giddey put together.
You think that?
Yeah.
You think that Bam
Adebayo is a top 2 defensive player in the NBA?
That's
and
true.
As far as the center position, I would say he's top 4. Is there 3 better centers in the NBA scoring wise than Bam?
Yeah, scoring wise, absolutely. Scoring wise,
so I said 4. The top 4.
I mean, there's even probably more than that. Just scoring wise, like
Bam is not a great scorer at all. I would give you Wemby. I would give you Jokic. I would give you Embiid, who's dead. And then
Sabonis is a better center. Sengun's probably a better offensive center than Bam at this point, more versatile in both creating and passing and in scoring.
But he scores less than Bam.
Yeah, but it's not just about scoring points, because that's also an opportunity. Being a better offensive player is more than just how many points you score, Pat.
I get you, but Bam is a better facilitator, and
Bam is not a better facilitator than Sengun. He's nowhere near a better. Look at Bam's passing as far as like the rated passes. He is nowhere a facilitator.
My boy, I love Alperen Sengun. You know this. I've said the Bulls should trade for him for about 5 years.
Hold on, we're gonna get to the point where we're going well over our ad break. So let's do
that. But I'd rather have
Bam
Adebayo than Alperen Sengun.
I'm not saying that either because of the defense, but that's not the conversation we had. And you usually switch. We're talking about offensively. Bam is not as good as an offensive player as Sengun. He's just not. Now he's a better overall player because of the defense.
19-5, what Sengun got?
Yeah, because it's not just about points; it's about how you create those points as well. But we'll get into that. Let's get into that first. We got to get into a message from I don't even know which sponsor we're doing now. One of our sponsor, and that is Skims.
We go.
When I found out Skims was making underwear for men, I was intrigued. I've heard so much about their quality from friends and family, so I had to give it a try. Let me tell you, it lives up to the hype. I've always had issues with underwear, fit, comfort, or just finding the right style for me. Skims changed all that. Their men's line offers something for everyone, from boxer briefs to classic briefs, all designed with the perfect balance of comfort and style. I tried Skims stretch 5-inch boxer brief, and I was hooked. These are perfect for my active lifestyle. They move with me, never lose their shape, and stay in place all day. Whether I'm working out or just running errands, they're the most comfortable and reliable underwear I've ever owned. Plus, the lightweight material feels amazing, almost like you're wearing nothing at all. Shop at Skims Men's at skimsmens.com/LockedOnNBA and Skims stores. Let them know we sent you. After you place your order, select podcast in the survey and select our show in the drop-down menu that follows. I also got to talk to you guys about another one of our sponsors, and that is Game Time. There's nothing like the atmosphere of the NBA playoff game. Every bucket, every defensive stop, which the Bulls got none of, every moment feels huge. It's electric in the arena, and with Game Time, you can be part of it without the stress of last-minute ticking, honey. Game Time makes it fast and easy to get playoff tickets, even when demand is sky high. Prices on the app actually go down as tip-up gets closer, and the last-minute deals can save you up to 60%. Here's why I use Game Time. Last-minute deals. Save up to 60% of buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy, and theater. The all-in pricing means no surprise fees at checkout, and what you see is what you pay. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code. That's LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. More Locked On Bulls coming up next. All right, Patrick.
Crazy.
What? Crazy what? The skim? No, you being goofy as hell during the Skims ad read is what's crazy.
I didn't say a word.
You didn't have to say a word. That doesn't. Since when is being goofy just saying a word, Pat?
My boy. Come on, my boy. Hey, listen. Am I Donovan Mitchell? Did I say we won the meet-off? Because that's what Donovan Mitchell said. And he's the biggest Skims promoter ever.
That's crazy. The meet-off is crazy, bro.
He was competing against Shea. He said we won the meet-off. Take that for what you will.
That is bananas. I don't even remember what the hell we were talking about. What were we talking about?
Bam Adebayo over Alperen Sengun as far as centers.
Oh, yeah. I don't know how we got on that, but
essentially saying that
because you said that are there better offensives? Like we weren't talking about, but Sengun is a better offensive player than Bam Adebayo, bro. When you look at the way that he creates his own shot, Bam basically doesn't create his own shot at all. Almost 70% of his shots are assisted, whereas Sengun, like what? Go ahead.
No, I agree with you. Yeah. I'm not disagreeing with you, but with Bam Adebayo, 70% of his shots are created from somebody else passing him the ball in the post. Bam Adebayo is also somebody who is dominant in the post and is efficient at a 57% clip inside the post. To me, that conversation with Alperen Sengun still being a 50+% scorer in the post is accentuated when you talk about Bam because of how many assists at a three of his 5 assists per game come from the post. So how many people are collapsing on Bam to try and slow him down versus how many people are collapsing on Sengun? Houston is more of a 3-point shooting team. They're more playing out to the end where Sengun gets that opportunity.
Houston is not more of a 3-point shooting team, bro. They are not more of a 3-point shooting. They're both bad 3-point shooting teams.
No, I'm saying a more of a 3-point shooting team than Miami. More of Alperen Sengun's buckets come from people worrying more about Jalen Green, worrying more about Fred VanVleet, worrying more about Dylan Brooks, who went on a historic run.
That's not true. If that was the case, then it would be more assisted. He's actually creating more because he does create more. Less of his shots are off assists, so he's actually isolating more one-on-one. That
you talking about Sengun?
Yeah, Sengun.
Or Bam?
I'm talking about Sengun. Now, Bam is a much better defender, but if you're talking about offensively, it's not because of people collapsing out on the 3-point shot. People are actually more gearing towards Sengun because he is creating more off the dribble for himself, and less of it's assisted. You look at in the paint, 61% of Bam's buckets are assisted in the paint, and 63% in the restricted area.
100%.
40% of that is Sengun. So it's not that he's creating more based off other people.
Different players, though. No, Bam is a back-to-the-basket center. Bam is not a face-up center.
You're right, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about a better offensive player. The player that takes the more difficult shots and scores more, as well as doesn't have people assisting more, is generally considered the better offensive player. And then even assists. Bam has 4.9. Sengun has 4.3. Sengun has 4.9. Every statistical category Sengun is better at. Everything that you're pointing towards Sengun's better.
Bam has 4.3, Sengun has 4.9, but how they score is very different. Also, Bam spent half the season playing with a player that was also in the paint with him. Sengun has spent half the season playing with the teammates that are throwing that mug up. You want to talk about a THT team? Talk about Houston.
They're throwing it up, but there's no spacing on the team because they're not a great 3-point shooting team.
They were good. I just said they're throwing it up. I didn't say they were good.
But they're not throwing it up just from 3, though, bro. They're not throwing it up just from. Anyway, we're supposed to be talking about the Bulls.
Somehow we turned into Locked On Rockets out here. No, I think the conversation we were having was that Bam Adebayo being the player for me who combines for what Coby White and Josh Giddey did in this game. And I think that's more where the concern comes in. And that's why it's tough coming out of this game with a loss to the Houston Rockets with a loss to the Miami Heat, where you look at the Heat and go, well, there's one dude that could have killed you tonight. And dare I say, he didn't kill you tonight.
Yeah.
It was everyone else. Bam Adebayo was not
their
the
role players absolutely
night.
Now, the Bulls today. Tyler Hero in that first half of that game completely went off.
And it was, you never got back into it. Now, what I will say about Bam is that Bam created a situation like we talked about when we did the crossover episode, right? Coby White was trash down in the paint. Josh Giddey driving into the paint was not as good as he normally is. I'm not going to say that he was trash, but he was not good as he normally is. And so I think that creates a different situation. And we went too far on this probably, but you know what? We're going to combine both of these. Let's do a quick ad break here. And let's talk about why this is best case scenario for the Bulls and who has played their last game on this team. But first, how about we tell you guys about Amazon TV and Locked On? Did you know that Fire TV is also on Xbox? I'm not an Xbox guy, but turn on to any TV and get into your gaming and entertainment hub with your Fire TV Stick 4K device. No console is required. Just grab a paired controller, subscribe, and sign in to an Xbox Game Pass Ultimate account with EA Play included, and you can not only tap in to every premium title from EA Sports College Football 25. I'm playing a lot of that. I'm still playing a lot. You still playing that, bro?
Yeah, of course.
Like a lot of us have tapped out on that. I love College Football 25. To Call of Duty Black Ops 6 as easily as you would stream your favorite show. And here's the thing. It's affordable. It's portable gaming. You can play high quality Xbox games at a fraction of the cost of a console, and already have a console. A Fire TV 4K device is more affordable and easy to travel while allowing you to take your game with you just by plugging it into that HDMI device. But you can also play the top games out there, and you can also stream Locked On wherever you go. All you got to do is head over to Amazon.com/Fire Locked On to get started. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription and compatible controllers required. Available on select devices, including Fire TV Stick 4K, second generation Fire TV Stick 4K Max, first and second generation, and Fire TV Cube third generation. I'm not going to lie to you, Hayes. That's nuts. You can just buy an Xbox with a Fire?
You could buy the Game Pass, yeah. That's the thing that Xbox did that's been literally keeping them alive, is Game Pass.
It's kind of fire. More Locked On Bulls coming up next.
All right, we got to combine two topics into one. Best case scenario, Pat. Why was the Bulls losing today the best case scenario for the team?
Because you get the draft pick.
Yeah.
I gave you two. I gave you two best case scenarios, right? I said, number one, you have a Derrick Rose season. Hayes, who's not on this team?
There's no Derrick Rose on this team.
Hayes, who is Coby White never going to be?
Did people think he would be Derrick Rose?
I think people thought that he would be a star to superstar level player.
I don't think that. I never thought that.
Oh, well, of course you didn't. You don't want to why? Because you're smart.
Pat, you got to stop drinking before.
There is no Derrick Rose on this team. There will never be a superstar on the team with the current roster you have.
Can't say that. We don't know what Modest is going to turn into.
I feel star. Yeah. You think Modest has superstar potential?
I don't know. I'm just saying that we can't say that for sure. That's all I'm saying. I don't know what he has. I'm not going to put a cap on him yet after a rookie year that he didn't start most of.
Had a great rookie year. But
great?
This is a great rookie year.
A great rookie year?
100%.
We've seen great rookie years.
No.
Ben Gordon had a great rookie year.
Why I say that is because there's not a lot of rookies that go through the adversity.
That's a fact.
And still come out on the other side having a great second half of the season. Usually the rookie year, if it starts off with the, hey kid, sit on the bench. Hey kid, we don't have a reason to put you in the fourth quarter. Hey kid, maybe I'll put you in this game, but probably not in the next game. we usually don't see those rookies come out on the other side of it where we feel confident about.
Yeah, but this rookie class specifically had a lot of those stories in this rookie class.
No, but I think the difference in Modest is Alex Sarr played most of the season. Zachary Reassessment played most of the season. Stephon Castle, who has been
he did not play most of it. He was benched there for a minute.
He was benched there for a minute, but until Pop had his situation, prayers at the Pop. And then all of a sudden, Stephon Castle was entered into the starting lineup, and he started the ball out. But Modest, probably out of the top 15 picks, has played the least amount in the first half of the season and more in the second half.
I think that's Khalil Ware.
No, Khalil Ware was basically Khalil Ware was playing kind of early though.
He was like Modest. He wasn't playing a lot of minutes. Let's see. I just want to make sure I'm not tripping. So he averaged 7 minutes per game in the month of November. December, he averaged 13, but he only played in 5 games.
Mm-hmm.
And then in January, he got up to 24 minutes.
And when did Modest get up to 24?
Similar trajectory. He did start playing more earlier, a little bit earlier than Modest.
That's what I mean. Right, like because Modest was after All-Star break. It was like, hey, Modest, it's your time. Let's see what you got. At least that's how I feel like it went. You may have the numbers that say different.
Yeah, Modest was 13 in January, but then up to 26 in February. 26, yeah.
So my point in all this is I don't feel like you have a superstar on this team yet. I think Modest can be a star. I think Modest can be an upper echelon star. But a superstar is a different conversation. I think Giddey can be a star. I think Giddey can be an upper echelon star. A superstar is a different conversation. I come out of this game in third play-in situation in a row with Coby White, feeling like you got a guy that can be a good guy, but a guy. Because stars show up in this game. Or any of these games in the past 3 years.
You got to get to your point, bro.
No, that is my point. I think this is best case scenario because you got your answer.
What
Kobe's
answer
the guy.
is that? Who's the guy?
Kobe's a guy.
Okay.
Did you feel like Kobe? I feel like in the second half of the season, we felt like Kobe was more.
I mean, I'm not going to take one game to know if he's more or not. Like, I think that Kobe coming into the season wants, with his role not changing, to take a look at that. But I don't think that anybody came into this thinking like Kobe was going on a good stretch. And that's great. But I think we both had that conversation. Like Kobe, we all knew that Kobe wasn't a number one. So anybody who fooled themselves because Kobe put up 20 points and they think that automatically meant he was a number one is too caught up in the stat sheet. That doesn't make you that was the point I was like, putting up 20 points doesn't make you a number one. It's more about, are you stepping up at the biggest moments possible, right? Like how are you when your team is stagnant? Are you the one that's going out there and getting in the bucket or getting to the free throw line? Like, there's a lot more than just the numbers that go into you being the guy, right? I think Kobe's still going to come into next season probably as the number one scoring option. And the Bulls, as I've said before, it doesn't change my point, my standpoint on the start of next season, or all of next season still needs to be how much of what we saw from February to the end of the season can y'all do for a whole season? Because in the summer of 2026, we got tremendous cap space, and that's when there's a lot of free agents on the board. So, say that you got that answer. I mean, we still need to see. But again, I guess it's just my own personal view because it was never about Kobe being a number one on a winning team that wins a lot.
To me, it's not about him being a number one. It's about, can you be a number two? Right, like I always, my goal for Kobe was never to be the number one. Right, it was to be. I mean, at this point in his career, can you be a number two? Number two show up in this game. Kobe hasn't shown up in a Miami Heat matchup for most of the season, and dare I say, for this entire play-in situation. This has been our matchup: Atlanta, Miami. This is a rivalry in the play-in. And Kobe's a guy. That's tough when you look at the fact that Josh Giddey and Modest Buzelis, to me, gave you more effort than Coby White in this game.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted Coby to be a 2. So to me, and to go into the final topic, right? Who played the last game? If I'm AK, I'm capitalizing on the second half of the season that Coby White had. And I'm going to find another scorer. Because when the games get serious, Coby don't show up. And this is the most serious that we've gotten to see out of the Bulls in 3 years.
A first round play. I mean, if that's the case, then Coby White showed up in the first playing game last year
against Atlanta. Yeah, because nobody can guard him.
Yeah.
The second somebody can guard Coby White, he don't show up.
I guess I track your logic there. You got to stop drinking before we do Locked On, bro.
Am I wrong?
I mean, you make your points a little bit more cogently. But it is what it is there. Anyway, so you, Coby White's played his last game in the Chicago Bulls jersey.
If I'm AK, yeah. Pat Will is an easy one.
Mm-hmm.
That's my thing. Pat Will's an easy one. Jalen Smith's an easy one. But to me, if I'm AK and I look at this game, why am I rocking with Coby White going into next year for a playoff scenario that you're hoping can get created?
Okay.
I wouldn't. Would you?
I mean, yeah. Because at this point, there's I guess with his contract situation, it may be to see what you get out there. But I think at this point as well, why not see what you continue to have in it? There's still, I'm not going to let one playing game against the Miami Heat team that could just be a bad matchup. There are star level players. Hold on, bro. There are star level players that have certain teams that they just don't play well against, right? Kobe's not that. I still think you're still in the sense of finding your guy. But if you find it, as we said before, if you get a good offer, you get a good offer. I don't think there's really too many people on the team that if you get an offer that makes sense, that you're not considering that offer. And also your draft position plays into the part in that. Is the guard the best position at where you're drafting? All right. There's a lot that goes into that decision. And we'll see if AK is ready to make it. So
no, that's a different conversation. Is AK ready to make the decision? Is a whole different conversation. Lonzo Ball's here for 2 more years. It's a 1-year deal. That's a 2-year deal.
Yeah.
So we'll see what ends up happening, man. But season over, my boy. It's tough.
Mm-hmm.
But it's best case scenario.
You guys can follow us at Locked On Bulls. You can follow Pat at Pat the Designer. You can follow me at CEO Hayes. Locked On Bulls is free and available on every podcasting app and platform of your choice, as well as YouTube, the Odyssey app, Amazon Fire TV, Roku TV, and more. We'll see you guys on Friday. Love you guys. Go Bulls, y'all. Peace.
Peace. By the way, the Kings are down 73-50.